The Caribbean Sea, cool, quiet. But beneath the waves, something shifts. January 2025. Off the coast of Venezuela, the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, cuts through the water. No lights, no music, and no celebration. Only the low hum of engines and the quiet understanding among those on board. This isn't a drill. Washington terms it a routine freedom of navigation mission. Caracas calls it an act of war. Moscow calls it a red line. No shots have been fired. Not yet. But history never begins with explosions. It begins with silence. For years, Venezuela has been collapsing under economic ruin and sanctions amidst political chaos. But beneath the ground lies something much needed for the world. Lithium, white gold of the future. The heart of all electric cars, satellite batteries, and guided missile systems. More lithium than Saudi Arabia has oil. Presently, the world's superpowers are quietly gathering around it, like wolves around a wounded animal. It is not alone. It has defense agreements, small on paper but huge in implication, with Russia, China, and Iran. If foreign troops land in Caracas, then those agreements activate something dangerously close to NATO's Article 5, mutual defense. Russia has already sent its nuclear-powered submarines into the Caribbean. China's foreign minister issued what he called a final warning. Iranian drones have been spotted entering Venezuelan airspace. None of this is headline news. Not yet. Some advisors in Washington call it a limited deterrence. Others, behind closed doors, whisper one word: escalation. Simulations have been run inside the Pentagon. What if US forces land in Caracas? In 61% of scenarios, the conflict widens beyond South America. In 29%, there is a retaliatory strike by another nation, while in 4%, nuclear weapons are exchanged before diplomacy can react. 4%. It sounds small, until you remember that 4% of 8 billion lives is over 300 million souls. History is full of such moments. 1914, one assassination in Sarajevo triggered the First World War. 1950, North Korea crosses a river, US and China go to war in Korea. 1962, Soviet missiles appear in Cuba. The world comes within 12 minutes of nuclear annihilation. Wars never begin when people are ready. They are always started by a few who think that nobody else will ever start. Night falls differently nowadays in Caracas. People close their windows not because of weather, but because of the sound of jets. Children say prayers they don't understand. The mothers cook rice and beans in candlelight, unsure if the power will be on the next day. On the other side of the world, in a quiet room at a US airbase, a young pilot studies the photo taped inside his locker, his wife, his newborn daughter, and tries not to think about where his aircraft will fly next. Experts say this won't be like Iraq or Afghanistan. It's a nation surrounded by jungles and mountains, Russian missile systems, Chinese satellites, and shadowy alliances. One wrong move, a missile launched too soon, a radar misinterpreting a flock of birds, and the chain reaction no one can stop would explode into action. Not a grand declaration of war, just a siren, a misread signal, and then, in 20 minutes, no turning back. People think that world wars are initiated by marching armies and waving flags. They don't. They start with a message. We advise all US citizens to leave the area immediately. They start with oil prices spiking, with the embassy staff being evacuated, with journalists disappearing from hotel lobbies. They start off with silence on a satellite feed, and that's where the naval fleet used to be. Behind the official speeches and diplomatic smiles, quite another battle is fought. The battle for narrative. Some say it's about freedom. Others say it's about lithium. Some say it's about stopping socialism. Others say it's about controlling energy for the next 50 years. But for the men in bunkers and the women sitting in dark kitchens across Caracas, reasons don't matter. Missiles don't ask why. They only ask where. As a former CIA analyst told me, the estimates are a team effort. It is the kind of timeline in which all the ingredients for a global war exist, and we just don't know who will light the match. Russia has moved bombers into Arctic bases. China has quietly transferred surveillance ships to the Atlantic. Iran has promised unpredictable retaliation if Venezuela is invaded. These are not theories. These are movements. Recorded, verified, timed to the minute. And yet, most people scroll past it. They think, somebody's going to stop it. Someone always does. That's what people said in 1914, and 1939, and 2003. Humanity doesn't fall off cliffs. We walk toward them. One decision, one sanction, one convoy, one headline at a time. The question isn't, will World War III happen? It's deeper. Worse yet, it's this. If the first domino falls, who is going to be brave enough to stop the second? Because somewhere, right now, there's a young radar operator who is staring at a screen. A captain is waiting for a call. A mother is packing a suitcase that she hopes she never has to use. History is turning toward a familiar doorway, and for the first time in a long time, the whole world is holding its breath.